Welcome! This is the Rustic Songbird podcast, and I'm your host, Lydia Walker. This show is for you if you're ready to learn more about the craft of songwriting and take your skills to the next level. Thanks so much for listening. Let's get started. Today's episode is going to be a little different, but I think you're in for a treat, and I can't wait to share this with you. I recently co-hosted a songwriting retreat in Nashville called Create with Erskin Anavitarte, and the episode today is going to be sharing one of our sessions from that retreat called Dreamwork Teamwork. And Erskin talks about how you can build a team to take your music even further. And I love what he said. He shared with us, and you'll hear his story a little bit in this. He said, I knew I could go faster by myself, but I could go further with a team. And that's something that I'm learning in my music as well. And so this is just such great information, such good wisdom and insight, and I think you'll get a lot out of it. So I really hope you enjoy hearing from this session, and if that is something that you like, let me know, and we might do more of this on the podcast. So here we go. This is Dreamwork Teamwork with Erskin Anavitarte.
And you guys know this, anytime that there's anything that happens, we can't take credit for without also acknowledging the other people who have helped us to achieve some of those things. And so I was talking with somebody about a week or so ago, and I was saying, I can count no less than 10 people that I consult with who do different things to bring all of this together. You know, depending on where you come in and what you see of that, you may think, you know, I'm primarily responsible for that, but there's actually a small portion of what it is that I do that is what I do. And then everybody else around me is functioning at high capacity and high content and high character and doing what it is that they're doing. And so I wanted to highlight that and just get us thinking through the process of how that works. I should sit on this side. Because I don't have my clicker. It says more men or more people, I should say, fail for lack of purpose than lack of talent. And that was a great evangelist, Billy Sunday, who wrote that. And obviously, to unpack that, he's talking about the fact that there's a lot of people who believe that talent is the thing that gets you out there. It's the thing that wins the day. And certainly in this retreat, we want to emphasize we want to develop our skills and our talents, but really having a singular purpose, something that is driving us to do what it is that we're doing, is the most important thing. I remember when I first moved to Nashville, I took the regular advice that people gave, and I would go to all the open mics and I would play and just try to introduce myself in the Nashville scene. And I remember sitting next to guys that were just virtuoso, like guitar players and musicians and everything, and I was just so excited to just play my songs that I'd written for Jesus. Like there was no whiskey and wine song over here and then this other song over here that I'm singing about Jesus, and it's just kind of like I just feel like I'm supposed to be doing this. And I don't mind doing it in a place that people don't normally do this. I'm just so excited to share about who Jesus is. And so I was never intimidated by people's talent. I just felt like there should be more people who are telling people about Jesus and using their skills and using their ability. And it was just really that driving singular purpose is that I really want, I can't account for all the artists that are out there or what they do or what they don't do, but I know that I need to serve the Lord with the gifts and talents that He's given me, because nobody else is going to stand there with me. When I stand before the Lord, He's going to say, what did you do with the skills, talents, and abilities that I gave you? And I recognized very early on that if you want to go fast, you go alone. If you want to go far, you build a team. So these are some of my thoughts. 3 keys how to build a team to succeed. First one is work with creatives you enjoy working with. Work with creatives you enjoy working with. When Lydia and I started talking about this weekend, envisioning what this could look like, we were so excited. And one of the things we were excited about was we got a chance to work together. We've done various things together. We've done house concerts. This lady right here is she's one of my musical heroes, because every place that I've been, CD Baby Conference, I mean, every place that I've been, she's always got her family with her. She's always emphasizing the family. What's the name of your album that just came out?
It's called Made for This.
Made for This. And I wish you could show the cover of that. It's got a mom carrying a baby on the front of it. And she's been writing songs for mothers that are just going through that season of life. And has always been an artist hero of mine. And so the opportunity to work with someone like Lydia was exciting to me. To have the opportunity to work with Aaliyah, and you guys we'll get a chance if you're not already, to see how unique and special she is. And we go to church together, and her family and our families are just intertwined in that regard. But the person who does my graphic artwork on my albums, I enjoy working with Russ Moore. He's a cool guy. I enjoy interacting in that space with him. And Shelly Eve, who does photography for me, I enjoy working with Shelly. Stephen Lawicki, who's my producer. I enjoy working with Stephen Lawicki. And I know there's a lot of producers and people who are out there, and I tell people this all the time. I think one of the mistakes that artists make in Nashville is they go from one person to the next person, the next person, the next person, and they try to climb the ladder of success thinking, the next album I'm going to work with somebody who's better, and the next album maybe I'll get attention and I'll be able to work with this person. And they work their way into what they feel like is a better situation. I've just enjoyed working with Steven so much that I believe that the more we get a chance to know one another and enjoy working together, the better our albums will become. And that's what I thought from the beginning, and that's hopefully what is bearing out as we continue to work together. Is the more time we spend together, the better we both get at what it is that we're doing, and the better the end product becomes. Obviously my wife, who is, all the stories that I tell, they don't happen without Kelly doing the things that she's doing. And she's the anchor. She's got those 5 kids, and it's like, I can juggle 2 balls, maybe I can juggle a 3rd ball and get it in there, but when you start adding 4 and 5, all the balls are going everywhere. And Kelly manages to juggle not balls, but kids on a constant basis, and then the supply line for what it is that we need when we're on the road and anywhere else. She's doing that, so a valuable part of the team as well. And I would say, because we're in this setting, my local church in Franklin, Trinity Franklin, wonderful church family. I don't think you'll ever have a perfect church, but there are people who have come alongside us, and they have, there's been times when Kelly needed to go to the hospital, there's been times when I needed things. Having that strong connection with the local church, whereby they become part of your team as well, and support group has been important. So I enjoy working with creatives and working with creative people in my life. It brings me to a new level of awareness. I'm kind of in 2 worlds. When I was an associate pastor, I had to do a lot of stuff that was pretty linear, just in terms of Bible study, preparation, Greek, Hebrew, teaching, lesson. But I always had this region of my brain that was operating and functioning and thinking, why don't we do something we've never done before? And that can be a good thing, and then for some people that can absolutely drive them crazy in pastoral ministry. It's like, I know we did that last semester, but this semester we're going to do this. And so I was that guy who always had that creative region there. But work with creatives that you enjoy working with. Secondly, create works that help others. This kind of gets back to the Billy Sunday quote of having a singular purpose. If you, and I think we were even talking about this at dinner tonight, if you guys, when we begin, like Lydia was saying, to lock into our purpose and who God has made us and how unique that is, we then begin to get comfortable, as it were, in our own skin. We then become the main actor in the story of our own life. That's the way that I always look at that. It's like our life is this drama, and there's characters that are coming in and characters that are going out. But wait, we're one of those characters. So our going in and coming out coincides with where God is sending us. It's like, okay, now you're on stage. Okay, now come off the stage. But in all of that, we're figuring out that we have this skill so that we can serve other people. And I was in the Cambria Hotel the other day. I was at the Top Writers songwriting competition. And I was in there and I was thinking, okay, this is a bar. There's probably not very much spiritual emphasis that's going on here. But I was thinking to myself, how can I play my songs in such a way that the people who are here are served with seeing something and hearing something that they would not have heard, would not have seen if I was not here. And so even though it wasn't like service in the capacity where I'm like helping the homeless or feeding children or anything, I wanted them to experience something because of my presence there that hopefully points them back to Jesus. But we have an opportunity to serve one another in the body of Christ. And Chris and I will probably talk a little bit about some of the songs that we've been writing, some of the things that he's been writing that I think are a tremendous service in our world, that is subjects that are much needed today that we have an opportunity to write. And so creating works that help others should be one of our primary focuses, and figuring out how and where there's areas of need. Because the fact of the matter is, the world writes all sorts of songs, and there's all sorts of songs that sort of fit in a certain category. But as God gives you the vision to see areas of need, like last year, literally, we were sitting on that couch, and John, your brother, says, you know, I've been working through this quote from Martin Luther King. It's, darkness cannot drive out, darkness cannot drive out darkness, only light can do that. Hate cannot drive out hate, only love can do that. And so after that, we were right here, and we wrote the song Only Love. But it was in response to the fact that there's so much division that takes place in our world. There's so much darkness in our world. And as we started talking about that and saying, we really should have a song that serves in this space, that's kind of where that was birthed out of. So that's number 2, create works that help others. Number 3, develop skills through workshops and retreats. That's pretty obvious. You guys are here this weekend doing just that. But I would say that there's a value in this. All of us can write songs, and all of us can kind of go in our room and get our instruments and write songs, but there's something about coming together with others to be able to do those things, to develop our skills through the workshops and retreats that we get an opportunity to do these sort of things. And, you know, I've been to CD Baby before, and I've, you know, done the Immerse thing, and it's just rare that there's an opportunity for Christian musicians, writers, to encourage one another. And so these are, I believe, important events, times for us to get together and really connect on that spiritual basis and develop our skills in the process. There's one thing, and I'll say this as I move toward a close, that it kind of gets at me a little bit, and it's always been sort of a leading provocation for me, is that I'm known as a Christian music artist. Like when I get up and I begin to address an audience and I tell them I'm about to sing a song about grace. By the way, grace is God's unmerited favor. And I have people at a bar who turn around and they start looking at me. That's what's coming out of my mouth. Now I've got to play my instrument. Now I've got to communicate a song to people. I don't want that to be poorly done and for them to think about that I've represented the Lord that way. And so developing skill is something that I know Gene is passionate about with CSMI, and that's why he wanted to sponsor this event. And I just don't think that, let's put it this way, I think Christian songwriters should be the best songwriters that we can possibly be as we serve this world and represent Christ. Catherine Walden says this: the number one way to block your creativity, dabble your paintbrush in another's palette. Stop comparing your gift to another person's gift. And I think that is well said. There's room at the table for everybody. There's an opportunity for everybody to contribute and to be a part of this. And so I just want to encourage us to just live in those unique spaces as we have opportunity this weekend. So there's that. 3 keys. how to build a team to succeed. All right, I'm going to let you guys write this writing prompt down.
Are you old enough to remember the movie Chariots of Fire?
Yes. I mean, I didn't. I've seen scenes from it. Let me just say that.
That's what I was afraid of. You remember Chariots of Fire, yeah. Dum, bum, 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 bum. Yeah. One of my favorite lines in that movie is, "You can honor God by peeling a spud if you peel it to perfection."
That's good.
Really good line.
That is good. Let's do this prompt. And just write this down. Give a name to your biggest challenge and describe how Jesus can help you overcome it. Give a name to your biggest challenge and describe how Jesus can help you overcome it.
I hope you enjoyed hearing one of our sessions from the Create Songwriters Retreat in Nashville. Erskin shared some great wisdom and some good tips, and I hope that you can take something away and apply that to what you're doing as well. Let me know if this type of show is something that resonates with you, if you'd like to hear more things like this on the Rustic Songbird podcast. And also, I would love to hear your ideas for any topics that you'd like for us to cover, because we're really here to serve you, and I want this to be a place where you can get connections and ideas and insights and trainings. And so this is here for you, and I want to know what would be helpful for you. So send me an email or connect with me on social media. My email is hello@rusticsongbird.com, or you can find me at the Lydia Walker on Facebook and Instagram and Twitter. I would love to hear some feedback from you after listening to the show and be sending out more of what you like. So make sure to send me a message and let me know what you think. Thank you so much for listening. See you next time. If you enjoyed this episode, be sure to subscribe, rate, and review this podcast and share it with a fellow writer. Thank you so much for listening. I'll talk to you in the next episode.